Here's a question for you. Have you ever argued so fiercely for an opinion that you even forgot to ask if it even really truly mattered? Welcome, fellow seekers. Today, we're diving into a piece of shadow work that might just change how you see yourself and the world around you. We're exploring the 17th evolutionary pattern of change, the shadow of opinion, the gift that it has to bear, called farsightedness, and the path to the grace of omniscience. Opinion. Sounds harmless, right? But when it comes to our identity, it hardens into dogma. One can stop seeing possibilities and start defending walls. This is the shadow that closes the third eye. It says, I already know. Don't bother me with new insight. Here's a parable called the Tower of Mirrors to help understand the shadow better. At this point, please close your eyes and visualize the story I am about to share. In a vast mirrored city, there lived a boy named Aelin. From the moment he could think, he was taught that reflections were truth. He was told, when you can predict the pattern in every mirror, you'll be wise enough to lead. So Aelin learned to observe, he learned to measure, he learned to label, and eventually he became very good at being right. His reflections became more symmetrical than anyone else's. People came from far and wide to hear his theories, his insights, his logic. But over time, something strange began to happen. The more he explained, the less he felt. The more accurate his answers, the more he feared new questions. He stopped venturing outside of his tower of mirrors. Why would he, when everything he needed to know was already in his reflection? One day, a child arrived. She held no books, no charts, only a stone in her hand. She looked up at Aelin's tower and threw the stone, gently, curiously, into the center of the mirror. It cracked. At first, Aelin panicked. His symmetry was broken. But behind the mirror, a world he had never seen before, full of light, movement, music, and silence. In the silence, something whispered, you were never meant to reflect reality. You were born to perceive beyond it. That day, Aelin stepped out of the tower, not to abandon his mind, but to let it serve his heart. Welcome to this channel and series, and welcome to the 17th evolutionary pattern of change. This video is not a solution, it is an opening, a portal to understanding one of the core mental challenges of human existence. It is about opinion, how the mind seeks control through logic, labeling, and mental certainty. But this isn't just a psychological challenge, it's an evolutionary one. It's about how the fear of being wrong limits our vision, locks our relationships, and shuts down the very center of intuition in our third eye. The shadow of opinion and how it affects physical evolution. The shadow of opinion is not just about being judgmental, it's about identifying with thought so deeply that we become disconnected from reality itself. In our early evolution, logic was a survival tool. We needed patterns to track seasons, build fire, and navigate danger. But as the mind evolved, we forgot it was meant to serve something higher. The mind started running the show, and fear became the fuel. The fear of being wrong, the fear of not being respected, the fear of being left behind by a faster, louder voice. And so the mind began building fortresses of belief, structured, rigid, and resistant to change. The result is we stopped listening, we stopped seeing, we turned against one another, not because we're evil, but because we were afraid of letting go of what we think we know. The complementary shadow to this is the shadow of judgment. And in the shadow of judgment, there's the fear of blame. And in that shadow lies the repressive nature of inferiority, and the reactive nature of superiority. In that judgment lies the dilemma of flaws. After this video, you can explore the 18th pattern of evolutionary change so you can see how the two play off each other and complement. For those interested in doing deeper personal alchemy and wish to have a means of accelerating an understanding of shadow work, over the last 3 to 5 years, I have collected a wealth of information from various esoteric systems, namely the I Ching, human design, gene keys, the chakra systems, and astrology, as well as integrating them with the human genetic code. And in this chart, you will find the details of all the different shadows, all the different fears, the specific fears that fuel those specific shadows, all 64, all in relationship to each codon. And in this wheel, you will find 4 legends on each corner because they can't all fit on one corner or one side to make it a nice, evenly balanced square. So here is the statements from each zodiac sign so you can see. And then we have the legend for each chakra. You'll notice that there are more than 7, and because there are more than 7 because it is including the spleen as a means to detect threats. So there's an intuitional center there. There's also a center of willpower called the thyroid, because when we are born, the thyroid is literally almost, if not as big as our heart. So we have to accommodate that. And on the other side of this, you will also find an understanding of the I Ching, the hexagram system, the different trigrams, the relationship to the three-dimensional plane, the yin and the yang, and how each of the 6 lines are affiliated with different archetypes, thanks to the human design and or gene key system. And lastly, you will also find the human genetic sequence chart for all the amino acids associated with the human genetic code. But furthermore, you will also find in this chart all the different zodiacs, all 12, mixed with the human design gene key chart. Bear with me, my graphics card is not as fast as other people's on their computer, but you will see all the different fears, all the different shadows, and how they relate to each chakra in those colorful little dots. So you can see how it affects each energy center in the body and how each of them have their own repressive and reactive statements because there are 6 expressions in each challenge. Therefore, you will also find those 6 lines in there, all with their own repressive and reactive statements, their associated dilemmas from that specific shadow, which eventually will clear up, the gift from making the right choices regularly and practicing that gift with its own unique self-empowerment statement. So as you learn to vacate the trapped emotions such as sadness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and you will reorient towards true self-alignment and honoring the intuition and inner authority that you possess, it will lead you towards the grace specific to that challenge. So if you would like to learn more about this and or you would like to download this file for your own personal means of translating your specific challenges in the human design system or in the gene key system, it is all there for you. All you have to go is to my website and download this PDF file. It's about 50 megabytes in size. I hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into this massive PDF with all the details about all the specific challenges you'll have in your personal self-realization path. In order to find this PDF, a link will be found down below in the description of the YouTube video. When using that elaborate and vast chart of information, you can use the human design apps found in the App Store on Google Play so that you can choose whichever speaks to you most. And as you choose whichever human design app works best for you, you can then use that towards the chart. So you get your information and your numbers. And then after that, you can use the chart as reference. For example, I use the human design app, which helps me see the specific numbers that I need to see in the top right hand corner. The red are the unconscious. These are the ones that were imprinted when the soul decided to remain anchored in the body about 90 days before you were born, between the second and the third trimester. The black numbers indicate the conscious, more aware challenges that you know you have in your current life, based on your survival challenges and your adversities currently going on in your life. You can also find that same application in the Human Design App Store for iPhone and or iOS before you start using the chart that you have purchased online. Thank you very much. And if you ever need more information on this and you wanted a free consultation in understanding the current challenges in your life and how it relates to human design, feel free to reach out through the links below. You can also visit thegenekeys.com. There, you will also find a different kind of chart. It relates to the same challenges and same numerical sequences as found in the I Ching and Human Design. And there you'll be able to find a free profile link where you can then enter in your personal information in this field and then have a look at your specific gene key profiles and understand your genus sequence, your Venus sequence in opening up your heart, your love sequence, prosperity, and finding inner harmony. Thank you for watching this short introduction into the Wheel of Evolutionary Change and the chart that I've shown you in brief. And hopefully through those apps and through this PDF, you will find a way to decode the challenges you face and understand how to make the best choices for you and everyone you were meant to impact positively in your life. Now back to the shadow work and the evolutionary change in this video. But back to the 17th pattern of change in the shadow of opinion. Why is there an importance of this challenge in our spiritual process of ascension? Here is the higher truth. The shadow exists not to punish, but to prepare. Every shadow is an invitation to ascend from fear and embrace the grace within. Every shadow is an invitation to ascend out of fear and embrace the love and grace on the other side. The 17th pattern of evolutionary challenge is to see without distortion, to release the belief that truth must be defined by logic alone. This is why, in its highest frequency, this pattern of change doesn't lead to more intelligence. It leads to omniscience, a spiritual awareness that goes beyond facts, language, or belief systems. It's the dissolving of duality, the integration of heart and mind, the silence beyond sound, where you don't think truth, you become it. But you can't jump there from the shadow. You have to walk through the discomfort, through the confrontation of your inner rigidity, through the unraveling of your identity in what you believe. Many people want to heal before they understand, but this pattern of evolution asks us to sit with the tension first. The tension between knowing and not knowing, between the safety of agreement and the mystery of truth, between the mind's protection and the heart's wisdom. Because once you understand that your mind doesn't have to control everything, you begin to relax. And in that relaxation, new insight flows. That's when evolution becomes effortless. That's when spiritual maturity takes root. Not in defending your beliefs, but in surrendering them to something greater. So if you've ever felt frustrated by how attached you are to being right, or if you've ever silenced yourself out of fear of sounding wrong, this is the pattern of evolution that is speaking to you, not to fix you, but to awaken your awareness that there's nothing wrong with your mind. But the challenge is, can you let it serve your vision rather than rule your reality? In the next video, I'll be exploring the complement of this pattern of change and its shadow of judgment. Until then, remember, truth is not something you hold, it's something you become when you stop needing to be right. Thank you for being here and watching this in its entirety. Feel free to like the video and subscribe if you want to continue listening and watching more. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this journey with you through all of the shadows that we are all here to transmute. Down in the description below, you'll find links to email me in case you wanted to have a one-to-one 45-minute consultation, or you can check my website for understanding what I do and how I do it. You'll also find links to meetup groups. There are 3 of them that I host. One is called Divination Systems that goes into more depth regarding this. The other is Emotional Intelligence and Mastery. And lastly, the Emotional Trauma Release Group. All these groups are safe spaces supported by its members. But if you've become saturated by various social platforms and you just wish to access the content to support you through the process, you can check out my website and look for the archive, where you'll find links to Dropbox folders for each area of interest, whether that be divination systems, such as human design and the gene keys, emotional intelligence and mastery. I look forward to serving you in the next videos in this series. God bless you on your journey. Namaste, and good life to you all.